Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel, where I'm always breaking down the hot sports topics of the day. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my 7-round NFL mock draft with the 4th round, picks 11 through 20. I've already done picks 1 through 10 of the 4th round and rounds 1 through 3 in their entirety, so be sure to check that out. Just a little bit of a heads up, because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers since the last installment of this mock draft. This is a mock draft I started a week or two ago. I'll be doing another 7-round mock draft right before the draft, which will be a lot more updated. This one I'm just going through and see where I see these guys falling now. A lot's even changed since I started doing this mock draft, so please keep that in mind. Pick number 11 in the 4th round belongs to the Carolina Panthers. I thought the Panthers had a pretty big need at the cornerback position before Chris Gamble retired. But now with Chris Gamble retiring, I see an even bigger need here. And Leon McFadden, the cornerback from San Diego State, should be here in the middle of the 4th round. He's a solid cover guy. At minimum, that can be a nickel back for you. And with these 3 wide receiver sets that teams play in the NFC South, that's an important position for the Panthers. So Leon McFadden from San Diego State. Pick 12 belongs to the New Orleans Saints. With Jermon Bushrod leaving via free agency, the Saints obviously have a very big need here at the tackle spot. Chris Faulk from nearby LSU is a guy that most likely will be here. He may sneak into the top half or the top section of the 4th round here, but he's a mountain of a man. He's had some minor injury concerns, which will be cleared up, and I think he can be a nice get for the Saints. If he's not a starter right away, he can definitely create some depth along that offensive line for the New Orleans Saints. Pick number 13 belongs to the Chargers. The Chargers, Antoine Cason has gone on via free agency, moved on. Quentin Jammers, 34 years old. The cornerback spot, pretty big need here. Brandon McGee from Miami. I think after him, there's a real big drop-off in the next best cornerback. So I think they get the last good cover guy here in McGee. Again, sort of like Leon McFadden. I think he's a nickel guy who has maybe the potential to be outside eventually. But Chargers, Brandon McGee from Miami here in the 4th round. Pick number 14 belongs to the Dolphins. A lot of people have Montee going before this point in the draft. I may have him going before this, in my revised when I do a couple weeks from now. But as of now, I don't see a big need for him until the middle of the 4th round here to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they have Daniel Thomas and Lamar Miller in the fold. Okay, 2 guys who are maybe solid running backs. We don't really know because both of them are unproven or average at best in Daniel Thomas's case. Montee is a guy who, when he's around the goal line, I think he'll be able to make things happen. I think that will translate to the NFL. The one deficiency he has is catching the ball out of the backfield, which those other 2 backs do pretty well. So Montee in the 4th round to the Dolphins. The Buccaneers pick here 15th in the 4th round. With Michael Bennett moving on, Daquan Bowers facing potential legal trouble, Corey Lemonier from Auburn, if he's here in the 4th round, is a definite guy that fits the scheme of the Buccaneers. He's probably the 5th or 6th best 4-3 defensive end pass rusher in this draft, and he fills a need for them in the middle rounds. And if they can get a starter here in Lemonier in the 4th round, that's huge. So Corey Lemonier, defensive end from Auburn. 16 belongs to the Rams. Again, Steven Jackson leaves. They have a gaping hole now at the running back position. There's some different options they'll have here in the middle of round 4. Stepfan Taylor from Stanford is a guy that I think all of us that watch college football have watched quite frequently throughout the last 2 to 3 years. It seemed like whether it was the Andrew Luck Stanford team or the Stanford team this past season, whenever Stanford was playing in a big game and needed a big play, it seemed like Stepfan Taylor was involved in that play a lot of the times. And I know his 40 time may not be that impressive, but he's a guy you look at the game tape, and I don't see how you can't be impressed with him. So I think Jeff Fisher likes these hard-nosed kind of guys that run tough. So Stepfan Taylor in the middle of the 4th round here to the Rams, who have a definite need at the running back position. The Cowboys released inside linebacker, middle linebacker Dan Connor. Jelani Jenkins from Florida is the best inside linebacker left at this point. I think he's a value here in a position where there's not many real quality players, the middle linebacker spot. Jelani Jenkins, middle linebacker to the Cowboys here in round 4. Pick 18 in this round belongs to the Steelers. We all know the Steelers have to create some depth at the safety position. A lot of people think they're going to go middle of the first round with the safety. I think they have a lot more needs. They need to possibly get starters at. And Palomalu's going to be back this year. Ryan Clark's going to be back this year. Robert Lester from Alabama is an interesting name. He's a strong safety, tough guy. Went through the SEC battles for years. Strong player for Nick Saban at Alabama. Kind of got lost in the shuffle and wasn't really highlighted that much because of all the talent they have on that team, including D. Milner, who played on his defense last year. Mark Barron was in that secondary with him as well. So a little bit overshadowed, but I like Robert Lester and what he can do. And he sort of has that Steelers mentality that I know they like to look for. Pick 18, middle of the fourth round, Robert Lester. To the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pick 19 belongs to the Giants. The Giants, it's kind of puzzling to me what they're doing in their cornerback spot. I know, Giants fans, like they like Terrell Thomas. They like some of the other cornerbacks they have, but I think they need to create some depth in case they face more injuries and things of that nature. So I like with this pick, Will Davis, the cornerback from Utah State. He might not be a name you've heard a lot about, but he's a solid guy here, especially towards the end of the fourth round. I think he could be in the mold of a Stevie Brown, a Jaron Hosley, guys who have contributed for the Giants here in the last couple of years when they weren't the most heralded guys coming in. So Will Davis, corner from Utah State. Pick number 20 in this round belongs to the Bears. The Bears have a need at linebacker. Obviously, with Nick Roach now moving on, who knows what's going to happen with Urlacher. I think they need an overall guy who could bring depth to this linebacking core, both in the outside backer spot and in the middle backer spot. I think Chase Thomas from Stanford will do that. He, again, a tough guy whose 40 time is not going to wow you, but made a lot of big plays for that Stanford defense. From a athletic standpoint, I think one of the surprises of the college football season is when that Stanford defense, sort of matched what Oregon was trying to do on offense, and Chase Thomas led that defense. So I like Chase Thomas as the pick number 20 here in the fourth round to the Bears. Let me know what you guys think of these picks, 11 through 20 in the fourth round. Be sure to check out the other 3 rounds of the mock draft and the top of round 4 here. I have a link in the video, so you guys just click on it. You'll see all the videos from the different rounds of the mock draft here. And remember, I'll be updating this mock draft towards the middle of April for you guys as well. Thanks as always for listening. Be sure to subscribe and have a great day.